Morning. If you want to see how we made this nice little serving tray slash inbox is what I'm going to use it for. Made it out of this deck wood, or this cutting board stock right here. Stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today. Good morning and welcome to our first day of year 8, Memphis Monday 365. Today we're going to make a serving tray, and kind of an interesting concept. And as a matter of fact, you know more about it than I do, because you probably saw it at the beginning of this video. So let's knock off the chatter. Let's knock off all the mystery and get to work. A few weeks ago, we made some cutting boards, and some of them look like this. And I kind of like the looks of those cutting boards. So I got the idea, why not make up some stock in this pattern and see if I can make something with it. So over the last few days, and it did take a few days to do it, because these cutting boards, you gotta let them dry a few days, and you gotta let them dry for hours between glue ups. And so I made up this stock here. Now, difference between this stock that I glued up for our project and a regular cutting board is this is just shy of 3/4 of an inch. Cutting boards are usually 1.5 inches, so I don't have the same glue action. Another problem I got with this pattern here, well, I got two problems. One, everything is end grain glued together, which I don't have any scientific proof of it, but end grains don't stick together as well as side grains. Second problem is this plywood is just made up of scrap plywood of several different kinds I found around the shop, and some of that cheap China plywood or Vietnamese plywood, and sometimes the glue holding the plywood together can be suspect. So I got to be really careful with this stock. So I made a prototype of the serving tray that I envision. Got 20 degree size, splayed out 20 degrees, and with little hand holes. And this is 3/4 inch stock also. Okay, going along with the suspect stock we're going to be using. Everything is cut at an angle. You got two 20 degree cuts on the sides, one for the bottom, one for the top. Then you got this splay angled cut for this splayed miter joint. And also you got these hand holes cut out. And the bottom itself is cut at 20 degree angles also, so it flows into the bottom. Now what that does is, I don't know how delicate this is going to be, so I made extra stock, because I don't know how many pieces of it I'm going to break. And this is how I envision the thing looking, with the patterns all along the side and the bottom and the ends. So that's what I envision the final product to look like. Okay, let me cut some measurements off this thing. We need a rhombus figure that's about 21 inches long, and let's say 3 1/4. So when I say a rhombus, I really mean a rhomboid. A rhombus has all 4 sides the same length. It's a special case of a rhomboid, but the angles go in the same direction, like this. And we'll do that on the table saw. Okay, this is a test. If things start, pieces start flying everywhere, we know we got problems. Well, let's see how flimsy this is. It's breaking at the joints. So usually, when you do a glue up on the end grain or with the grain, you know, then the wood doesn't break at the glue joints. But in this case, it does. That one's pretty strong. That's because it's being reinforced by that. Yeah, so that might, that's something to think about. So it looks for our 3.5 inch strip, looks like the cut's gonna go right through this solid wood here. So that'll help. Here we go again. Okay, now what we have to do is cut our splayed angles here on our stock we just cut out. Now, you can use I don't know squat about math, but you know, woodworking, you got to do a lot of math. But if you're a woodworker, you're probably not smart enough to do a lot of math. So you have to have a cheater book. And to get these splayed angles somewhere in here, there's a chart. That shows you how to do compound angles, and here it is. If you're doing a 4-sided figure, what angles to set like for example, we're going for 20 degrees of angles. That means our 45-degree angle is really going to be 41.6, and our other angle, the blade angle, is going to be 18.9. Okay, this is primarily if you're going to do it on a table saw. Now, if you're cutting something wide that you can't use this technique on, then you're going to have to use the table I showed you in the math book. But this is how they do, you know, crown molding and stuff. It does all the math for you. All you got to do is put this rhomboid, lean it against the fence at the same angle as your cuts here, and make sure you secure it and everything. I've got a spacer back there because I don't want to be anywhere near this thing when I put the blade through it, because it's liable to shatter and just go south quick. So I'll move you and let you see this cut. Here you can see the spacer, and I've got a clamp on it. Okay, let's see if we can get our ratings up with this cut. It's liable to fly everywhere. Well, it looks like my fears of this stuff being weak might be unfounded. This is the weakest part of it right here with the plywood, and you got to hit it pretty hard. Yeah, you got to hit it pretty darn hard to break it. And it didn't break at the glue. Let's try breaking one of these solid wood ones here. Those won't even break. Just saw me cutting out with the jigsaw or the hand holes, and so I got all four sides done. I got two sides and the two ends, and I'm going to try to stick them together with glue and these 23 gauge pins. They're incredibly small. I don't know how they can make something precise enough to even fire these things, but it seems to work. All right, let's quit delaying. I'm gonna try to be careful with this glue. I'm using the pins because, you know, I don't want to split this wood. I haven't had any problems with it yet, but it just seems to me that all these little sections, and then what happens is these two go together just like that, and it automatically splays it out. I'll tell you, I'm just going to go for it and try a couple of 16 gauge brads. I went ahead and cut the bottom out. No secrets there, except you got to make sure you remember to bevel these corners here so that the side flows right into the bottom. And I'm putting this bottom on the outside because, as you can see, the pattern just continues from the bottom, so it looks like it's one continuous deal. Okay, I'm going to attach this bottom with glue and brads. Oh, we got that drama after all. See that little piece that fell out of there? I gotta find that piece or make a new one. Stick it back in there. I figured that'd be cracking all the time. I decided to go with penetrating pecan stain. I'll lose some of the colors, but it really, since the stain soaks into the end grain of that plywood, the pattern really stands out. Not too dark, not too light. Well, here's our little serving tray for Memphis Monday 365. I'll put some polyurethane on it and show to you next week what the poly looks like. I really like the way the pattern just keeps going right into the bottom. We went with a pecan stain. We thought we were going to have problems with wood chipping out, but we only had one little piece of wood chip out and put it back in right there. All right, so overall I'm pretty satisfied. Well, that does it for Memphis Monday 365, the first week of our 8th year. We thought we were going to have trouble with that end grain, plywood, solid wood combination, but with all the glue ups, we only had one little piece chip out. Overall, I think it's pretty strong. We started out using just 1-inch 23 gauge pins to tack the corners together, but I finally went ahead and put in 1.5 inch brads. It seemed to work fine. So worked good. I think I'm probably going to use that for an inbox in my office. Not like I have like an inbox and outbox, but where I throw all my papers before I decide what to do with them. So like and favorite and share. Next week I'll show you what that thing looks like, all smothered with poly. There's no use waiting for 2 or 3 days to finish this video. Like, favorite, share, all the stuff you do on the internet. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.